What is up, everybody? It is your boy Farai. Thank you once again for tuning into another video. Today we're going to be working on a new age melodic style rap vocal effect similar to Lil Tecca, D Savage. Comment below whoever else you've been listening to from this era. I think this era is something that's going to stick around. I think we're getting to that stage in this kind of hip-hop wave where a lot of stuff is just sounding super repetitive, super boring, but I do really like these types of beats. I do really like this style of hip-hop, and I believe this is going to stick around. So that's why I'm working on this, right? Just gets harder and harder to find good stuff to work on and present to you guys in calls. So with that being said, let's hop straight into it. We're going to be remixing Lil Tecca's song 500 Pounds, which I've been listening to, really enjoying it. But yeah, definitely, smash that like button, comment below if you're still here, check the web store out. I'm going to have a pretty nice sale soon, so definitely check everything out there. You can get the vocal mixing course, vocal recording course, the vocal enhancer, which we are using in this video. Absolutely amazing, still really sounds good, So let's hop straight into it and get to some mixing. Let's go.
She know that she grown, don't know the only reason I condone it.
Crisp blunt smell like fragrance. Only one of me and no replacement. Can't fuck with an op, you basic. And with me you get straight like braces. I came on the gun and they like how you do that. Two twin clocks, that boy get too tight. Fan in the void and I swear I can't get back. You got some drink, then let me head at. I just went shopping, Dior on my jeans. This is not laser tag, I got a beam. Jungle boy, I'm smoking the trees. Not getting money, it's just a pet peeve. Hop out, ayy, I just had a flex, right? I do this shit for the set, right? Just look at the logo, let's take flight.
Not living enough, this blunt, I'm taking a puff. I'm starting to feel like it's us.
Oh, hard, man. I'm digging it, you know what I mean? So, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into the main vocal chain. Obviously, you can pick up all of these presets as one FLP in the link below, so definitely check it out. I will make a free VST. I do with all the products. We make a free VST version as well, so that you can still get a really good quality sound, even if you don't have the cash right now to purchase all these plugins, you know what I mean? So yeah, let's get into it. So first things first, man, overall tone and vibe of the style of music is we want something that is going to allow us to really stretch our vocal range, but at the same time still sound solid, still sound clean, still sound good, right? And that's kind of what I've worked towards. So first things first, you'll see that, things are kind of the same, except now we are starting to incorporate our Waves Q-Clone preset pack. That again is in the description. Farai's collection. This is a absolutely amazing compilation of different preamps and different tones that I've kind of picked up over the years. Different mastering converters, mix bus processing. We got my SSL. We have lots of different line amp channels, right? From different consoles that we can use. We even have my vintage E-Series console right here, channels 9 and 10, which is set up on my console, so you can get access to that kind of preamp sound as well. We got all sorts of cool things, my X desk, 8 channels, whole lot of cool stuff. But, since I'm recording into my console, I'm not going to put it on the main vocal because it already has that sound on it. But obviously, if you want to get a nice kind of high-end LA sound, that's kind of, what we're going for with this, then you definitely want to be having a console preamp emulation. For the guys who want free stuff, you can definitely use a Air Windows channel plugin or even the Bus Color 4 if you want more flexibility in regards to how much you're going to kind of saturate and distort your vocal. Definitely hop in or definitely get, up to date with, utilizing saturation. You'll see I'm using it all over this template. Auto-tune, again, me, I don't think I'll ever change Auto-tune 8. I do actually want to try the newest Auto-tune. People are saying it's actually pretty good. So, worth the upgrade maybe. But as you can see, just setting our Auto-tune to the correct scale, setting that pitch towards how much we want to Auto-tune our vocals. Again, with this style of music, we're definitely going to be incorporating Auto-tune, except we're not going to try and make it sound like, Lil Wayne. We're more so using it as kind of an effect. To me, it's almost like a flanger, you know what I mean? It's not really just fixing the off pitches. It's adding a certain style to our vocal. But a NoiseGate, and then obviously we're monitoring how loud we are hitting our chain, right? So as you can see, around 0 VU, at max 1.5 VU. This is the range that you want to be aiming for if you're going to be utilizing this template, okay? From then on out, obviously for those who are new to this template style, you obviously add your microphone into the mic input section, and then you can route it to any of these green channels, okay? Obviously for now, we're routed to the main vocal, right? That then runs into our vocal chain, okay? Which then, that's where the magic happens, right? So if you want to hear what this vocal chain sounds like with no plugins, listen to that.
She know that she grown, don't know the only reason I condone it.
blunt smell like fragrance. Only one of me and no replacement. Can't fuck with a op, you basic. Hang with me, you get straight like braces. I came on that guy today like how you do that. Two twin clocks, that boy get too tired. Fell in the void and I swear I can't get back. You got some drink, then let me have that. I just went shopping, Dior on my jeans. This is not laser tag, I got a beam. Jungle boy, you know I'm smoking the trees. Not getting money, it's just a pet peeve.
Right, so there you go, right? Just such a difference, you know, the vocals all, I don't know what's up with this glitch. This is a glitch that has been going on FL Studio for a really long time. You know, where it kind of shows that the menu, I find it so annoying. But, you know, you get the idea, man. Vocal sounds really good, sounds analog, sounds cleaned up, okay? And we achieve that by utilizing a mixture of different plugins, okay? So color code, I got my Farai's Vocal Enhancer here, which is gonna act as our kind of console toning input, okay? So when I mix, I love to just sit and just tone and tone and tone and really just mix that preamp saturation with the rest of my chain, right? Which is an EQ, compression and things like that. And, you know, this plugin allows me to do that on the fly, right? So I tone, and in this case, we're kind of working away some of the treble, okay? This is a frequency range that I find is problematic when mixing rap vocals. So we tone that away, get a little bit of that tube drive going on. Again, this is just my tube console preamp and I just adjust from there. What I'm doing different this time is we're actually adding in quite a bit of flanger. Now the flange isn't just a flanger effect. It's really emulating that sound you get when you mix into a console, especially when you go stereo into a console. So if I was to put the vocal onto channels 1 and 2, channel 1 is going to sound a little bit different to channel 2. So we get a little bit of difference. Now ear picks that up, but because it's so subtle, it just sounds like a stereo effect. And so you can blend that in. Even if you were to go full flanger, you wouldn't really hear it because, again, I'm just trying to kind of get you guys to get that analog sound in the box, right? That's kind of my whole ethos and vision with this channel. So that's what I do right there. A little bit of reverb. That's just going to kind of emulate a larger size recording room. We're not really trying to add like crazy amounts of reverb, right? Rap vocals are supposed to sound good. Not too flat, but also not too wide and out of phase, right? So this just helps me achieve that. If I was to turn this off, just pay attention right here.
I condone it.
Crisp blunt smell like fragrance. Only one of me and no replacement. Can't fuck with a op, you basic. Hang with me, you get straight like braces. I came on that guy today like how you do that. Two twin clocks, that boy get too tired. Fell in the void and I swear I can't get back. You got some drink, then let me have that.
It's just adding like some fatness, you know what I mean? It just sounds like what it sounds like to hit a console, okay? So there you go. After that, straight to SSL, okay? Always going to be doing our rap vocals with a console style EQ. That's the way I work. That's the way the pros work, okay? You want to start working like this. And our weapon of choice today is the version 2 of the SSL E-Series channel by Waves, the EB2. And it's a cool console, right? It's got a sound to it. I do like the changes they've made in regards to the analog. You know, that's going to add a little bit of a sound to it. It's very subtle. They do have a mic line kind of distortion module, which we're adding none of, or maybe we will, I don't know. But you know, you can utilize that as well. It's something really cool. I like to make use of a little bit of compression, so just pay attention to this yellow and red meter right here and just see how much we're compressing. Mind you, the first LED is going to indicate 3 decibels of compression. So you really want to pay attention to listening. So copy these presets right here, or get the preset, obviously. I like to use a compression ratio of 6:1 for the console, and I just like it to kiss the compressor. Love the release on the fastest. It just adds a classic console sound that I really like. So let's listen to that.
I condone it.
Crisp blunt smell like fragrance. Only one of me and no replacement. Can't fuck with a op, you basic. Hang with me, you get straight like braces. I came on that guy today like how you do that. Two twin clocks, that boy get too tired. Fell in the void and I swear I can't get back. You got some drink, then let me have that. I just went shopping, Dior on my jeans. This is not laser tag, I got a beam. Jungle boy, you know I'm smoking.
So there you go, just adding that cool sound. Again, we're doing some EQ toning, classic vocal style toning, right? We actually have, for those who want authentic, you know, analog EQ, again, Farai's Vocal, my bad, Farai's Collection, right? We have the E-Series EQ here, and this is actually modeled off my Black Series EQs. And as you can see, we have a vocal EQ, and that's going to do something similar to what we're doing right here. Okay, just gets that sound, really cool. You can utilize that. But yeah, that's pretty much what we do in regards to our analog EQ. Again, this is just toning. So, you know, these two are really just toning that console sound just to get our vocal ready for a full mix, okay? And after that, again, now we're starting to use that Q-Clone preset pack. For what I wanted to do with this vocal, I wanted it to sound kind of vintage and timeless, right? And so I just pulled up a Pultec curve, and all that's going to do is just emulate what it would sound like running through a tube Pultec. Okay, for those who don't know what the Pultec is, it looks like this. Let's just pull up the UAD stuff, and just so you can see. So we're emulating something like this, okay? But we're not utilizing any EQ. We're just utilizing that preamp stage of that. And as you can see, we're just stacking that saturation up to really just help get that vocal into the beat, into the mix, that, you know, gain that 3D depth, right? That's what we're doing right there. Very subtle. As you can see, it's doing a little bit of a boost because that's just the way the Pultec is. Does a little bit of a low end roll off as well. Very subtle, okay? Using these is a really nice way to, you know, not over process your mix, but also still, you know, stack stuff up in a nice way, okay? So I like doing that. After that, we're going to start doing a bit of compression. Anything light blue will be compression, okay? And I'm just de-essing. Generally, I'm going to start at 16,000 and work my way down. I like the split mode, and I'm really just, anytime things get aggressive, right? In the style of music, because the vocals are going to sound so aggressive, we want to de-ess enough to where the vocal darkens a bit, right? Because if we are singing and rapping loud and, you know, we have all this character, the S's and things like that can get out of hand quite quickly, right? Especially if you start listening, you know, in the car or on, you know, a loud sound system. You want to make sure that those S's are treated, right? So this is how we do that.
I condone it.
Cause blunt smell like fragrance. Only one of me and no replacement. Can't fuck with a op, you basic. Ain't with me, you get straight like braces. I came out the gutter, they like how you do that. Two twin clocks, that boy get too tired. Fell in the void and I swear I can't get back. You got some drink, then let me head it. I just went shopping, Dior on my jeans. This is not laser tag, I got a beam. Jungle boy, you know I'm smoking a tree.
Right, the word smoking is still fully heard, but it doesn't have that, you know what I mean? It's not popping out, it's not inconsistent, okay? So just, you know, hitting that de-esser hard. Again, this is about as far as you can go in terms of de-essing. You can get away with de-essing more when your frequency is set higher, because again, the de-esser is only going to kick in when those sounds kind of explode, right? So you don't want to de-ess the whole vocal, otherwise things tend to sound quite lispy. Okay, so you don't want to do that. So there you go. After that, we're going to be, you know, really just jumping into our reductive EQ or subtractive EQ. It's a better word. And again, all I'm doing, you know, since, you know, most people are mixing vocals to already compressed beats, you know, you're going to be taking quite a bit of time to just remove frequencies, because you're going to have so much, you know, of a takeover of all the different instruments. You know, they're going to be upfront already. So it's important to really just spend time, you know, setting that vocal back a bit and allowing those instruments to flourish. Because generally when it comes to hip hop instrumentals, the instruments tend to be quite soft, right? But the instruments have so much emotion in them that you just want to make sure that, you know, they're still heard, they're still present, but they're not clashing with the vocal, okay? Because remember, the instruments tell that background story. They fill up all those empty places. They allow the vocal to, you know, fit in melodically with the rest of the mix, right? You know, no hip hop track is just drums. Obviously, some are, but you know, the drums are gonna speak for themselves, but the instruments tend to be forgotten about. So you really want to spend time getting that vocal to sound good with the instruments, right? And as you can see, this zone I really wanted to work on. And over here is generally where in hip hop male vocals you're going to be dealing with proximity, right? It's just natural. Most male vocals have a bit of low end, 300 to 200, you know, kind of fullness to them, right? So again, this would just be me dealing with the instruments, and then here's proximity, okay? So, you know, use that as a reference. Again, if I was to open this template fresh on a different track, I would remove all of this and then just restart again, but kind of keep that theory in mind, right? And again, we're just getting rid of some harshness, okay? So that's what we do EQ-wise. After that, we pull up the good old CLA vocals. Now, a lot of people badmouth this plugin when Kenny Beats did like a review on it saying, you know, don't like it, don't know what's going on. Alex Tomei as well has said he doesn't like this plugin. But what people don't realize is that this plugin actually has a analog preamp stage to it, right? So it actually adds a little bit of a sound. And you can see by this LED that if you hit it hard, it actually, you know, opens up, it distorts, right? CLA is a guy who loves saturation, right? I love saturation, and so why not utilize this? I'm utilizing this in a very subtle way. We're making use of the preamp, and then we just touching this lower EQ boost thing, 0.4, and all that does is it just kind of brings back some of that naturalness of the vocal, okay? Because again, The biggest problem I see with many mixers mixing male vocals is that you remove so much the low end that the vocal starts to sound artificial, right? It's supposed to be a male vocal, right? You want it to sound big and you know, sonically pleasing, but you also don't want it to sound overly boomy, right? And so do your subtraction, you know, add broad strokes again in very small increments, and you get that really nice sound, right? So that's what we're doing right there. If you wanted a bit more brightness, you could do that as well over here. As you can see, I tried it out, didn't need it. Vocals bright enough, right? And what I'm doing here is utilizing a little bit of this spank compression, right? And to me, this just sounds good. It's a nice way to kind of get that vocal to sound up front, right? If I turn it off,
I condone it.
Chris Blunt smell like fragrance. Only one of me and no replacement. Can't fuck with a op, you basic. And with me, you get straight like braces. I came out the gutter, they like how you do that. Two twin clocks, that boy get too fast. Fell in the void and I swear I can't get back. You got some drink, then let me head it. I just went shopping, Dior on my jeans.
right? Sounds good, man. It just sets that vocal back into the beat, okay? That's all we're working on, man. Subtle changes, all right? We don't need to do crazy things. With every plugin that we have available, we can just, you know, do what we need to do and keep it moving, okay? Now, one thing that will be, you know, consistent in this style of music is compression, okay? We want to really clamp that vocal down. So you can see I'm doing a little bit more compression than usual, just because I really want to get that kind of exploding vocal sound, right? And so the R compressor, again, you know, the R compressor is like, I try and run from it, right? I try and give you guys different compressors, you know, use this one, but I always come back to the R compressor, okay? And that to me is just a testament to how good and well developed this plugin is, okay? We have two modes, main modes with this compressor, opto or electro. So opto would be LA2A sound based on an LED, and then electro would be like an 1176, so, you know, classic kind of thrashy sound. But at this stage in our vocal chain, we don't really want to use an 1176. We just want to glue our vocal, glue all of the work we've done together. And so this opto mode is beautiful. It sounds really warm, really lush. So just pay attention to what I'm doing.
I condone it.
Chris Blunt smell like fragrance. Only one of me and no replacement. Can't fuck with a op, you basic. And with me, you get straight like braces. I came out the gutter, they like how you do that. Two twin clocks, that boy get too fast. Fell in the void and I swear I can't get back. You got some drink, then let me head it. I just went shopping.
Right, it's just like whenever we sing or rap louder, it just sets that vocal back into the mix, and it's very naturally pleasing to the ear, okay? Signs of bad use of compression: obviously if the vocal starts to sound like it's pumping, you've overcompressed. And if your vocal is jumping all over the place, you've either recorded a bit too violently, I'll call it, right, too erratically, and then you haven't leveled your mix, right? So level your mix first, you know, level all the different clips and takes of your recording, add a little compression, and then see how your vocal just sounds rock solid, dead center in the mix. Beautiful. Okay, so after that, man, pink plugins, again, our effects. I like to add a little bit of sweetening sauce to our vocal, just to really, you know, help that vocal sit back in the mix, right? So for those, our weapons of choice are going to be the CLA Echosphere, which I like. Again, we're using it very subtly, 4%. We're introducing 4% of that effect, and we're only utilizing the plate, okay? So that's just giving us a little bit of a reverby sound, adds a little bit of length to the vocal, really naturally pleasing to the ear. And then we kind of tie that all together with a little bit of air flanger, okay? This is something you'll find on Future's vocals. So I really like that effect, and I think it sounds great. But yeah, that's pretty much all we're doing in regards to that. We do have effects sends, we have doublers as well. If we take a listen to some of them, you know, it's important to have these, you know, different layers of vocals going on in these types of songs, okay? You'll find this with all sorts of different artists, Lil Tecca, right? You know, whoever, man. It's just important to have background vocals to add some sauce, right? So if you listen.
Placement, you basic. I came out the gutter, they like how you do that. Two twin clocks, that boy get too tapped. Fell in the void and I swear I can't get back. If you got some drink, then let me head it. I just went.
Right, and the most important part of introducing or adding in these doublers to your track is that they don't clash with the main vocal, because if they start to sound like they are trying to take over the main vocal, then your ear is going to be confused, right? You're not going to, you know, quite focus on the main vocal. And so it's important to really, you know, filter out the parts of the vocal that you don't need, okay? And as you can see with this one, we're just doing a basic, telephone effect per se, but we're making sure we're not making it sound too thin and too bright. Again, we are utilizing that Q-Clone preset pack, and we're utilizing what is that, channel 6 of my console, which is generally where I'm going to be mixing doubles. So really cool. Add a little bit of flange on there, and you get a really nice classic sound. Okay, we don't need crazy plugins to achieve that. And we have an ad-lib right here as well, which you can listen to. But yeah, together. It's just those little accents in the background, right? If we didn't have that, just listen. If we didn't have any doubles. You got some drink, then let me head out. I just went shopping, Dior on my jeans. Cool, but it's just missing so much, right? You got some drink, then let me head out. I just went shopping, Dior on my jeans. And what I also do is I have on the dub, or actually maybe on the ad-lib, a delay send, right? So as you can see right here, nice delay send running into there. And every time, we record one of these ad-libs, it runs straight into the delay, right? And that just gives us a bit of movement, helps us keep the vocal mix fun, right? Just went shopping, Dior on my jeans. This is not laser tag, I got a beam. Jungle boy, I'm smoking the trees. Not getting money, it's just a pet peeve. Hop out, hey, I just had a flex, right? I do this shit for the set, right? Just look at the logo, let's take flight.
Not living enough, this blunt, I'm taking.
There you go, right? That's how we do it, man. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have time for in this video. Don't want to make the video too long. We're going on about 26 minutes. So yeah, man, definitely check this out in the description. You know what I mean? Keep it moving, keep working, guys and girls, man. The links I get from people who have been consistently following along the channel for years is just so much better than even the stuff that you're finding on Spotify these days. It just hurts my heart that so much material is coming out in the hip-hop world and it's subpar in terms of quality. So that's something that I want to uphold in regards to within the hip-hop community. I want that quality to exist, and day by day we lose a little bit more. So definitely stay on the right side of things. Don't be one of those guys who just remove the bass on the vocal, add some trill, balance it a little bit and put it out. It's not timeless to me. You want that depth, you want that listenability, you want people to be able to listen to a song 5-6 times, play this back a couple times, listen to all the things that kind of pop up and leave, and and the changes in the beat and this and that. You want to have that variance in your songs. It's a beautiful thing, and mixing is a beautiful thing. Don't turn it into something mundane. But yeah, man, as always, hope you're good. It's glad to be back. Took a break, but keep working every day, and I'll check out the next one.